Hey guys, this is Nod Lammers of Invoke 101, and today I want to do something like really different. I wanted to talk about, I guess like a deck that needed support, and this is more of a deck spotlight and something that I feel could be, and this is basically what we're going to talk about, an old deck that could probably do really well against the meta if it got a little bit of new support. So I was playing against Sky Strikers the other day, and I was actually able to take, to go 2-1 against them using Phantasm Spiral. So anyone who knows me knows that I've played Phantasm Spiral since it was announced in the OCG. I've played it on Yugo Pro for a really long time, and then while it did take me a lot longer to build in real life, I've been super excited about this deck, and it's one of my favorites. So, Phantasm Spiral, if you don't know, is a deck based around this guy, this level 8 worm with 29 stats. He's a vanilla, level 8 water, so he's super cool. I think and everything revolves around this guy to a degree. But not only is it based around vanilla, they have a field spell, 3 different equip cards, and 3 different trap cards, but realistically you only play the 2. The third trap card is like a win condition with a bad effect on it. It's like if Phantasm Spiral Dragon kills 3 things, or like if one of them attacks 3 times, you win the duel. It's one of those weird effects. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about kind of what they have right now, which is right here, what they can use, which I have set off to the side over there, and then what would they need to make themselves better. And I'm gonna do this for a few decks as formats change, but I feel that this one is really strong because it's all vanilla monsters, and just the stuff that it can use because it's all vanilla means that it's immune to Widow Anchor, and it's immune to effect negation, and realistically doesn't search all that much. So we've already talked about Phantasm Spiral Dragon, who is a level 8 worm with 29. So let's talk about his field spell. We'll just set him over here for now. So his field spell is always treated as Umi. This is Pacifist, the Phantasm City. It's always treated as Umi. Whenever your opponent activates a card or effect or does anything, basically, you get to summon a level 8 token that's 2000, and it's a water worm token. Whenever a normal monster is normal or special summoned, you get to search your deck for 1 Phantasm Spiral card and add it to your hand. So very cool card. So even summoning the token, normal summoning, special summoning, whatever you do to get that normal monster on the field, you get that search. So this is a very cool card. Your deck does kind of run on it, but you can still play through a lot of stuff if you have a good hand. So we'll set that to the side. Let's talk about Phantasm Spiral Wave. Now this is actually where I do get a little confused because I forget which ones do which. So give me a moment while I read this. So, okay, so this is Phantasm Spiral Wave. This is the one that, while this card is equipped to a normal monster, which it can only be equipped to, the monster cannot die by battle once per turn. Then, at the end of the battle phase, if the monster battled, you get to special summon 1 Phantasm Spiral Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Very nice. This is Phantasm Spiral Grip. This one gives a normal monster 500 bonus attack points. And if the monster destroys something in battle, if the equipped monster destroys an opponent's monster in battle, then you get to special summon a Phantasm Spiral Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard and inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent directly. You can only use this effect once per turn. This is Phantasm Spiral Crash. This gives a normal monster piercing battle damage, and if the monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you get to special summon a Phantasm Spiral Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And then, by the way, when these cards summon the dragon, when they summon the Phantasm Spiral Dragon, all these, the corresponding card that summoned it equips itself to the dragon. So they unequip from the normal monster and equip onto the dragon. And these two activate in the battle phase. This one activates at the end of the battle phase, making it kind of weak. All right, so those are the equip spells. So we got piercing, attack gaining, and battle immunity. So that's kind of nice, but I'm gonna move these up here and we're gonna talk about the traps real quick. So both of the traps can activate from your hand if you have Umi on board. You must only control normal monsters, a minimum of 1 to activate these cards. And Phantasm Spiral Battle simply pops a card on the field. Phantasm Spiral Power, what it does is it negates the effect of a targeted monster and drops its attack by 1,000. Then they also do something when you banish them from the graveyard. So Phantasm Spiral Battle, banish this card from your graveyard, target a normal monster you control, equip that normal monster with all Phantasm Spiral equipped spells you control. And this one lets you re-equip a Phantasm Spiral equipped spell from hand or graveyard. Target a monster, target a normal you control, equip a Phantasm Spiral equipped spell card from your hand or graveyard to that normal monster. So very cool. Lets you equip one from grave, so if one dies, you get to re-equip it. If you just need to get over something, you can equip everything to a dragon or another normal monster that you might be playing. So these are really cool. All this is really nice, but as you can see, it's a really battle-focused archetype. And we'll talk more about that when we get into the what they need. So this is what they have. So what they have is a lot of battle-focused equip spells and a nice field spell that helps them with consistency, along with some nice little disruption right here to help them get over things. Let's talk about what they can use. So we're going to set all this off to the side and we're going to talk about what can Phantasm Spiral use. Well, first of all, they can use any 2K normal monsters such as Megalo Smasher, and usually you want to run ones that you can search like Megalo Smasher, like Gene Warped Werewolf. This one you search with Fossil Dig, and this one you search with Tenki, which I actually play 3 Tenkis in my deck along with 3 Werewolves because it makes him the biggest level 4 normal in the deck. Make 21 instantly, so that's why I like the Werewolf. But yeah, so you can use Tenki to do that, to search this guy. The deck can also use stuff like Potted Viability, since special summoning on your first turn isn't really what you're going to be doing, since your field spell gets you the token, so you'll search on your opponent's turn. Now, what they can also use is stuff like C Stealth Attack and Rage Execution to lock your opponent out of zone. So C Stealth Attack basically lets you protect your field spell because it's Umi, and also makes your monsters unkillable in battle, and also your back row. So this will protect your back row. It protects all spells and traps, and all you have to do is banish the token. And since the token generation on this isn't once per turn, you can banish that token all you want and then get another one as long as your opponent activates another effect. So Rage Execution, you target zones up to the number of level 8, up to the number of water monsters you control whose original levels are 5 or higher, and then you get to pop those cards, and those zones can't be used for a turn or 2. And since your token is level 8 and your dragon is level 8, and you can easily get out a token and 2 dragons super easily, you can pop 3 cards and make 3 monster zones unusable. So that's very nice. Then we also have a card like Champion's Vigilance, which is if you control a level 7 or higher normal monster, this is Solemn Judgment with no cost. Your token is a normal monster, your token's level 8, this lets you redo that. This is really cool and also gives the deck a bit of negation without using the Solemns and your life points. And lastly, a card that a lot of people like this deck for, you can use Heat Wave, which if you don't know is just a super powerful stun card. What it says is at the start of your main phase 1, you can only activate this at the start of main phase 1. And then for the rest, until your next standby or draw phase, your opponent can't summon effect monsters. Neither can you, but since every monster in your deck is a normal monster, and so is your token, you can still play your deck. You can still play the game. So that makes Heat Wave a really powerful card. That makes that gives the deck something that no other deck in the meta or like before it could do, and do it well. So that's what they have, and that's what they can use. What they use is stuff that's really nice for the deck. It adds a lot of consistency. It adds a lot more playability to the deck. I do wish there was a level 4 worm that you can search. I know that there's like Oasis of Dragon Soul, not Oasis, Waterfall of Dragon Souls, and that searches like worm monsters, but it's not very good. So let's talk about something that they would need. Well, realistically, I think that all Phantasm Spiral Dragons need is a new trap card and a new equip card. I think that the trap card should be some sort of negation. I do think that it should be another form of spell and trap negation that you can drop out of your hand and not have to rely on Champion's Vigilance. I also think that it should be a counter trap. I think that it should be something that just negates a spell or trap and it has the same requirements as the cards before it. And I think that it should also let you equip an equip card. When you banish it, it should let you attach any equip card from your deck to a normal monster. I think that would give the deck a boost to go forward. That, or whenever you banish it, it should let you pick up a Phantasm Spiral card out of your graveyard. So that way you can get the trap cards back, you can get the trap cards back, you get an equip card back, you get a dragon back, but realistically, you'd be getting the trap cards back, which is one of the things that this deck does struggle with, is getting back its trap cards. I think that would give it a reason to play the card, and since it banishes itself to activate that, it wouldn't be too broken, since you have to pick up another card at that point unless you have a second copy in your graveyard. I think that that card like that would be super nice. Then, as far as an equip spell goes, I think that the equip spell should make the monster untargetable by card effects and unkillable by card effects, and I also think that it should spread out to the other monsters on your field that have equip spells. I think that it should only be equipable to a normal monster, and it should be like normal monsters that are equipped with equip spells can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Since we have Sea Stealth Attack, we don't really have to worry about our equip spells getting hurt if that's something that would be too broken. Like equip spells also can't be targeted. But and then as far as the way that it would summon the dragon, I don't know. Maybe if it just kills something as well. I don't know. That's the other thing that I don't know how it would work. Perhaps if it hasn't attacked that turn, and perhaps you could summon the dragon before you attacked. I don't know. I feel like that's a little much. But yeah, I do think that that just something that makes them untargetable would be nice. What's automatically great about this deck is its matchup against Sky Strikers. Sure, Sky Strikers can get rid of your field spells, and yes, they'd be able to get rid of your equip spells unless you have, you know, the Sea Stealth Attack. If you have Sea Stealth Attack, then you're safe. But overall, I do think that this deck could potentially be really good against something like Sky Striker, like Goki. It doesn't need an extra deck. In fact, it benefits you to not play an extra deck. Pot of Indulgence would work amazing with this deck, letting you draw more cards, especially since some people actually still play Cardinamize in this deck. And I just feel that if you are able to make this, that if this entire deck had 2 new cards, simply a trap and a spell card that did just a little bit more, that made them untargetable and unkillable by card effects, and negated spell and traps, and a counter trap that negated spells and traps straight from the hand, I feel that this deck would be pushed into at least a tier 2 spot, somewhere where like Cyber Dragons are sitting, and people would play it because it has a good matchup. And sure, you might have to hit one of the cards at that point, probably Pacifist, but still, even just that small time in the limelight, this deck is something that would, I feel that this deck would become a fan favorite simply because of that. Simply because it would be a normal monster deck that just somehow snuck its way into the meta. With Pot of Indulgence coming out, it'd be the perfect time for Konami of America to make those 2 TCG exclusive cards for Phantasm Spiral. Just slip them into Savage Strike with Pot of Indulgence, and this deck would be fantastic. You could just banish your extra deck for Pot of Indulgence and then draw new cards, and then you'd have your 2 new cards. This deck would be so good. I don't know if Sky Strikers would be good then, because Savage Strike comes out in February 2019. So who knows? But that has been this new segment. So I don't know what to call this segment. I was thinking about calling it the Heart of the Cards, but that's kind of lame. So tell me what you guys think I should call this segment in the comments below. Tell me what you guys thought about this in the comments below. Tell me if you want to see more and what other deck I should cover. And also, if you want to see more videos like this, consider backing me on Patreon. Just that amount a month goes to making more videos more consistently. And also, we have a whole bunch of new tiers that gets you into the Discord server, gets you entered into giveaways, gets you entered into polls. You can even get a mat, like my old Invoked mat. So yeah, if you want stuff like that, consider backing me on Patreon. And also, if you want to keep up with everything we're doing on the channel, consider subscribing. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.